What's up everybody, it's Actus XD here, and we are on the PTR about to have a look at the new weapon, the Void Gauntlet. I have done nothing other than put some equipment and the weapons on, so we will go through this together. First things first, we'll have a look at every skill and ability in the weapon tree, and then we'll go through and look at every skill that we can use on the Void Gauntlet. Let's get stuck into it and look at the left and right click abilities first. Light attack deals 100% void damage. Heavy attack deals 125% void damage and heals self for 20% of the damage done. I don't know if Harvest Essence is our left click or our right click or something maybe. This seems to be our right click ability is Harvest Essence. And it hurts. Yeah, Harvest Essence. Hold, block, converts your health into mana over time, or 8 scales with weapon damage. So, where were we just looking? And have a look at the Annihilation Tree first. Forsaken Pact, 10% damage while below 50% mana. Keen Confidence, 10% crit while above 50% health. Bang, that's an easy choice there. Void Blade, summon a blade of void energy that converts your basic attacks to melee. Tap basic attack to perform a quick slash that deals 100% weapon damage, or hold to perform a thrust attack that deals 150% weapon damage. Both attacks inflict disintegrate on successful hits, dealing 5% weapon damage per second and reducing damage absorption by 5% for 8 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times, 15 second duration. Let's take that just for 10% crit chance while abilities are on cooldown, yes. We'll go through all of the Void Blade tree at the same time. Let's have a look at the other ones first. Refreshing Precision, 10% cooldown reduction on all abilities on critical hit. Those two seem like they would synergize well. Let's go down the Void Blade tree. Gain Fortify on start, increasing damage absorption by 20% for 5 seconds. Plus 10% critical damage on Void Blade attacks. Successful thrust attacks heal self for 5% weapon damage per disintegrate stack on target. Scales exclusively with focus. That's interesting. So when you get 3 stacks of this, you're healing yourself for 15% weapon damage. That's pretty dang good. Gain Empower when casting abilities within 5 meters of an enemy, increasing damage by 10% for 5 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. Efficient Harvest. Harvest Essence health drain is reduced by 50% while below 25% mana. Now, what's this next ability? Oblivion. Summon a circular rift of void energy at your feet that deals 30% weapon damage per second to enemies and grants Empower to self and friendlies, increasing damage by 20%. Right, that sounds pretty good. Your attacks inflict weaken to targets inside the radius, reducing their damage by 5% for 5 seconds per hit. So it stacks up to 15% for 15 seconds. Plus 15 stamina per second for self and friendlies while inside the radius. Petrifying Scream is the third ability in the Annihilation Tree. Unleash a void-infused scream, dealing 100% weapon damage, staggering and inflicting root to enemies 5 meters in front of you. Disables enemy movement for 2 seconds. God damn! Bone-chilling Voice. Root duration increased by 1 second on targets below 50% health. Fortifying Echoes. Gain Fortify for each enemy hit, increasing damage absorption by 10% for 10 seconds per hit. I'm seeing some synergy here between Petrifying Scream and Oblivion. Imagine that. Alright, let's look at the last of our minor abilities, our smaller nodes. Leeching Agony. On critical hit, gain health equal to 15% of damage done. So that plus Leeching Blade is quite a bit of self-heal. Refreshing Frailty, plus 5% cooldown reduction on all abilities when successfully hitting enemies afflicted by 3 or more debuff stacks. Can be from different debuffs. Well, we do a lot of debuffs in this Annihilation Tree. So, and the last one, the end of the Annihilation Tree, is Void Caller. On successful ability hit, gain a stack of Void Essence. At 6 stacks, consume all stacks and gain a 3-minute aura that heals self and friendlies for 30% weapon damage. 3-meter aura maybe. That heals self and friendlies for 30% weapon damage and heals 30% weapon damage per second to enemies within. Deals 30% weapon damage per second to enemies within. Healing scales exclusively with focus. That's the Annihilation Tree. Let's look at the decay and then start putting some points in. Let's do the abilities first this time and then look at all the minor nodes. I've changed the way I want to do this. Orb of Decay. Fire an unblockable orb that passes through enemies, deals 100% weapon damage, and inflicts Disintegrate, dealing 5% weapon damage per second and reducing damage absorption by 5% for 8 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. At max range, it transforms into a healing orb and returns, healing friendlies for 20% weapon damage per second or for 5 seconds. Healing scales exclusively with focus. Healing scales exclusively with focus. And then the nodes off of Orb of Decay. Draining Orb, gain plus 5% mana per enemy hit by the orb. Slowing Orb, the orb slows enemies already afflicted by any debuff, reducing their movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds. Detonating Orb, press the ability input again to detonate the orb within a 4 meter explosion radius. Depending on the orb's phase, the explosion will either damage enemies for 100% weapon damage and apply a stack of Disintegrate, or heal friendlies for 70% weapon damage. Healing scales exclusively with focus. So it's going out, it's doing damage, coming back, it's healing. And you bang the button again if you get to the end node, and it's either going to damage or heal, presumably damage going out, heal coming in. The next ability in the Decay Tree is Baleful Tether. Fire a projectile that tethers you to an enemy, weakening it and empowering you by 4% per second, 20% maximum. So that's 5 seconds from my superior mathematical ability. The tether ends if the target moves beyond 15 meters. 10-second duration. Successful hits against the tethered target reduce other Void Gauntlet cooldowns by 5%. So you get everything on cooldown and start wailing on whoever you've decided to. 100% mana regeneration while the tether is active. And Soul Eater. Regain 80% weapon damage as health if the tethered target dies. Scales exclusively with focus. I'm seeing a lot of scales exclusively with focus. And the last ability in the Decay Tree, Essence Rupture. Fire a projectile that inflicts Essence Rupture for 10 seconds, healing anyone that hits the target for 20% of the damage done. Does not apply to damage over time. Players additionally receive 15 stamina when hitting the afflicted target. And Overflowing Essence. Friendlies within 4 meters of the afflicted target are healed for 80% of your weapon damage when Essence Rupture ends. Scales exclusively with focus. So they're the abilities and their connected nodes. Now let's look at the minor nodes themselves. Deadly Range, plus 10% damage on successful ranged heavy attacks against targets more than 8 meters away. Plus 5% mana per successful ranged light attack against targets afflicted by your Void Gauntlet debuffs. I'm not liking either of those. Radiant Efficiency. Mana costs are reduced by 25% while above 50% mana. Refreshing Harvest. Cooldowns are reduced by 10% per second while performing Harvest Essence. Cooldowns are reduced by 10% per second while performing Harvest Essence. Nifty. Leeching Bolts. Healing from ranged heavy attacks is increased by an additional 30% of damage dealt if the target is below 50% health. So you get an extra 30% of damage dealt if the target is below 50% health. Sounds like it's pretty good for 1v1s, that kind of thing. Successful ranged heavy attacks increase the duration of non-crowd controlled debuffs you have applied by 10%. I'm not loving a lot of the minor nodes here. Mending Evasion, dodging with full mana, heals you for 80% weapon damage. Scales exclusively with focus, 20-second cooldown. I like that. And the last final point in the Ice Gauntlet tree is Glimpse of the Void. Gain a stack of Void Essence per successful ability hit. At 4 or more stacks, your next successful ranged heavy attack will instantly reset all Void Gauntlet cooldowns and remove all stacks. That's impressive. That's impressive. Here is a change which we have not been told about before, but I am running on a road. Sprint speed is increased by 10% while sprinting on roads. That is something we had not previously been told about. Very exciting. In this video, we will only look at the bare minimums of the Void Gauntlet, just so there's stuff up there on YouTube for you guys to be able to see what the abilities do, what they look like. Over the coming days, I'll spend some more time stuffing around with stats and different specs to see how it looks. This is just going to be a very basic thing to get something out there. So, that being said, let's go all the Void Gauntlet abilities with all their nodes. That's our full ability, and let's get started here with using Void Blade. As soon as we can find some enemies to attack. Nearly just out of habit, I just ran straight to that. supply crate to loot it there. Interesting. All right. So, starting with a left click. Mastery point. Have I not? I've put my attributes in, haven't I? That's lobbing like a grenade type of thing. Obviously, I've come to an area where the mobs are... that's a heavy attack. Let's do some soul essence harvest. So, let me just double check here. What's essence harvest? Harvest essence converts your health into mana, so it's not actually doing any damage. Prefer to find a mob that doesn't explode themselves. I feel like that'd be the best way to play test. A famine geist. Drink a pot. Left click. I wonder if it performs like a... we're going to Void Blade here. Now we can see that it's a melee weapon. Heavy attack with the Void Blade. I'm just trying to survive rather than... oh no! Haha, that hasn't gone well. Now... oops. That's not good. This isn't good at all. Uh-oh. I'll probably take this out of the video. Camp. Let's go there. That was an interesting change as well. Perhaps that was, it didn't put camp at the bottom of the list and then I went and respawned back in Windswood or wherever, the nearest town like that used to happen. All right, let's have a bit where I don't fall off the edge. So let's have a closer read of what Void Blade is going to do. Void Blade, 100% weapon damage. Hold to perform a thrust, which is 150. And they heal for damage. All right, let's have a look here. Oh, an alligator would have been nice to get some attacks in. The famine geist just annihilated me before. I think I'm going to steer clear of that, friend. And we are going to find something to attack here. Oh, a goat. That's about my skill level, I reckon. Well suited to attack a goat. Wolf? No, more goats. Let's try and land a R ability. I don't know what they're called yet. Oh no, that's not a throw. Summons out of my feet, right, I see. I'd like to see how this left click behaves. Is it... right, it's thrown like a projectile, like underarm, like you lob a grenade, but it seems to go just directly in a straight line anyway, so there's no worrying about... it's got an interesting animation. It almost feels like you're lagging. I'm sure that's something you'd get used to. Alright, so we're going to get the Void Blade out. That's a light attack. Heavy attack. Now we can see this debuff stacking up here. So my heavy attack should give more health back. That's our Screech. Wow, you really cop it. Might need to put some points in con. Void Blade and a left click. I think we're going to have a little respec here. And go, yep, take some points out. Oh, it's all gone. Let's go a heavier, let's go 50 con, and then a heavier focus build and see what that looks like. Excellent. All right, we've seen those abilities. Now we are going to respec, and we are going to get all of these abilities. And Q is Orb of Decay, as it's going out and coming back. R is Baleful Tether, which is the projectile that tethers us to an enemy. And F is the Essence Rupture, which fires a projectile, healing anyone it hits. I think that's going to look cool, I reckon. Someone in global saying crouch spam heal bug is back. Pressing F. Interesting. Oh, I like this tether. And quite understand what I thought F was going to shoot something out that inflicts essence rupture. Right, healing. And so if I essence rupture the target, and then when I attack it, I'm getting healed. Gee, when I was first reading the abilities, I did not think that the Decay tree sounded that good, but it's quite nice. Seems to synergize well. And now our Q ability, I've already forgotten the name of, Orb of Decay. Let's see how that plays when we fire it out. Moves nice and fast. And then if we get it back... Oh, I can do this to reduce my cooldowns, right? Yes. It hurts. All right, how far does it go? Not a huge distance. Hey, distance. Let's hit our friend with that and then link together. I'm wondering whether these two abilities would not work quite well with Void Blade, because you don't want to run away from someone if you're tethered to them, because it's going to ruin your tether, of course. All right, let's find someone to do a second use Q on. Hello, Moon Shadow Defender. Q out, press it again, bang. Must say, it feels kind of nice. All right, that's a very brief rundown of the skills, abilities, and the weapon tree for the Void Gauntlet over the coming few hours/days. I'll do a more in-depth thing where we play around with skills and attributes. I just wanted to give you guys a chance to actually see the tree if you can't jump on the PTR yourself. If you found this video entertaining, it's been pretty boring, or informative, it's been very informative, then it would really help me out if you would smash the like button. And if you want to see more of my upside down head, then hit the subscribe button, because I'll be coming at you frequently. Thank you very much. And remember,